Hey, this is Rusty Byrd, and it's the Forest Park High School Football Show. And we've got, of course, Coach John Robinette, but we're blessed to have today with us the Forest Park Bruins defensive coordinator, Coach Denny. Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, I appreciate you having me, man.
Oh, yeah. Last week we had Landon's parents, and so we're just trying to get a few more people up here because, Coach Robinette can be a little boring. Anyway.
I got a face made for radio, too.
Right. Well, look, you all had a probably your best overall game yet. You defeated Alexandria City High School, formerly TC Williams. You beat them 25-0 at home. So for people like me, I couldn't be there because I was out calling the Gar-Field Battlefield game. All right, so we'll learn a little bit about that game. Then we'll preview your game for this week, and we'll get to know a little bit more about you, Coach Denny. So let's start out. Coach Robinette, tell me, kind of give me a summary of the game. Actually, Coach, you tell me how the offense did, and I'll get Coach Denny to tell me how the defense did. Clearly, they both were successful, but we'll start with you, Coach Robinette.
Yeah, I would say you are correct. It's only game 3, but one of the most complete game we played this year. I think offensively, especially, we played, last week you said it, Forest Park football. Ran the ball really well. Landon Hunt ended up with 175 yards rushing. We fed him the ball, and we had some timely passes. We threw the ball. We were 8 of 12, and, 2 touchdown passes and got over the top of the defense. But the formula was, see what they can do in front of us, and they didn't really hold up all that well, and just keep pounding the rock at them, and it was successful formula for us. And we didn't turn over the ball. We didn't have many penalties. And you block well and you hold on to it and you get first downs, you're bound to get touchdowns in the end. And I thought we did a really good job with that. Defense did a good job of making sure we got the ball back. It just was a good overall game for us. Up front, we played well. We moved people. And then in the backfield, Landon did his thing. And he was able to I was excited for him because he caught a 90-yard screen for a touchdown, and on that one play, he beat some guys at the point of attack, and then he outran the defense. And, a lot of college coaches, that's what they want to see in your running back position is, can you outrun people? And there's clearly you outran that whole defense the last 50 yards. So it was impressive. So excited to have him, and looking forward to this week.
Yeah, I actually saw that. I was, like I told you, I was calling the Gar-Field Battle, but I had the game on the side of my iPad. And while I'm watching, next thing I know, I just see Landon. I didn't see how it started, but just running out like, trying to be quiet. But I was like, go. Okay, no, cool. So it was that long, and he caught a pass. So that is good. Like you said, we know he can tote the rock, but at that next level, a lot of coaches are looking to see, can he catch and what can he do after that. All right, so clearly the offense was successful. Coach Denny, you're the defensive coordinator. Tell me about, one, how did you guys do, and did things kind of go? Did you develop a game plan and that's what was working, or did you have to make any major changes, adjustments at halftime? How'd that go? As a former defensive coordinator myself, I love coaching defense. So tell me about that.
No doubt. I think we definitely dominated at times. As far as did the game plan follow through as we wanted to? I think the joke on our staff is whatever we prepare for, the team comes out with something completely different. So we had to, kind of gather the horses a little bit at certain times, but I think the kids did a great job of, just reacting to the adjustments. And I think we dominated the front when we were executing our assignment. We were able to dominate on the back end. The defensive backs, I don't think we gave up any long passes, and we got turnovers when it mattered. One of the big plays was Nate getting a strip on the 1-yard line late in the game and running it back. Mateo.
I heard it. Called me that night for the game, telling me about it. Okay.
Yeah, and it was amazing to see, man, just the belief that guys had all the way up to the 1-yard line. I think that was the biggest thing to see, just the belief in each other and how hard they played. It was good to see. And anytime you get a shutout, it's always good defense was being played. So
been game, they advanced the ball, but you all, again, your defense didn't quit. And then it was several times when they were in the red zone and you were still able to stop them. I think you had a couple of big turnovers in when they were driving. If you can keep that, like, okay, we'll bend a little bit, but you didn't break. That's good to hear.
100%. Yeah. And I think it's just a testament to the kids believing in each other and knowing that, it helps when you've got two FBS players in the front, it helps a little bit on the back end. But
Yeah.
I agree. It was definitely a bend but don't break evening for us for sure.
Tell me a little bit. So we know the offense was successful, the defense. How were these special teams? I know the kicking game starting to come along last week. When I checked a few times, I saw I looked like I saw maybe one miss, but I'm not sure. So tell me, like extra points, field goals, and even maybe some of your kick coverages.
Coverage was real good. Our extra point field goal, we need some work. We were only 1 for 4 on extra points, and we missed 2 field goals. Now, part of that's on me. Both the field goals were a 46 and 47 yarder. So they're, but I tell you what, we don't miss by much, and I have a lot of faith in our kicker, and I'm going to keep trotting him out there.
Because
one
day you might need it,
and we'll be okay. I was really pleased with our kickoff team, our punt team. We didn't punt once in the game, so they weren't used. Punt return was solid, and I got to give a shout out to my guy, Donald King III. DK3 had a whale of a game. He blocked 2 field goals and had a strip on a kick return for a fumble. He was a busy cat over there. He did a great job. And so we're, as always, all 3 phases, but we're a work in progress. And, I say we played one of our most complete games this week, but I hope we look back and say that, it was okay because we've been playing better. We want to play better every week. But I was pleased with our progress this week on special teams.
Oh, good. Well, I think I might have told you, I went on Saturday, I went to the Virginia Tech ODU game. But then I also went home that night and watched South Carolina blow it against LSU. But their special teams played very well. And they even highlighted the fact that Shane Beamer does a lot of the same things and has a lot of success with his special teams. And so, again, we talked about that, but like a lot of people take it for granted. And I know, and I don't know how you do it, but like some programs and some, whether it's the pros, college, or even youth or high school, you kind of got backups in there, and it's like, oh wait, we'll get no. Like I know Virginia Tech was putting you may not be a starter, but you're gonna have to put a player in there. It's not just a time to give somebody some playing time, and so. I know Frank Beamer took it very serious, and that's something I know a lot of the successful coaches I've seen is like, we're putting good people in there because we want good things to happen. So
I can confirm he doesn't take it as a joke. It's
okay, good.
It's one of those things, and we have a great special team coordinator, Coach Robinson, and he told me this, last year, and it kind of dawned on me, special teams, they're always important. I always thought they were important. We valued them. But it really kind of hit me over the head when he said, what makes special teams unique is you only get one shot. Like there is no second down to a punt. There's no second down to a punt return, but it can completely radically change a game. And there's a stat that's floating out there. If you block a punt in a game, it's like 80% chance you're going to win. And again, I'm a history teacher. I'm not a math genius, but 80% sounds like it's pretty good. So those are such game changing deals that I think, he's right. We got to have players out there. Because there is no do-over. We have a bad snap on offense. We can play second down. You give up a punt return, crowd's going crazy. They're getting juiced. You get a block punt, or you get the block punt. Now you're changing the scope of the game in one play. So I think really is important.
I know when I've coached special teams or just putting those groups together, like I'm letting guys know, like it's an honor to be out here because you got a chance. If you bring it with your heart and energy, it doesn't matter whether you're a starter in other places, but can you bring it? And the story of Texas A&M in the 12th man, and they could do stuff. And he literally had walk-ons for the whole kickoff team. Now, what it has evolved into is there's one individual who they're calling the 12th man, and he's a walk-on and he's on the special teams. But the concept is that these are folks that are kamikazes. They don't care. They're going to go and they're going to give it their all. They may only get a few plays, but when they're in there, they're giving it their all. and there's still some decent athletes. And so, again, that's a part of the game I really value. Overall, it sounds like the plan is coming together. Like you played a very tough Mountain View team. Riverbend's a good team. The Alexandria City, and I always want to say TC Williams, they're developing and I know some of the coaches on that with that program. They're going to be okay. Your next game, and then what are you thinking about with district play? Right now, you're just worried about this next game.
We're all about the Varina Blue Devils right now.
Yeah.
We got our hands full with those cats.
Yeah. Let people know, like, I know Varina, quality program, putting out some great athletes. I think their quarterback is one of the best, not just in the state, but in the country. And they won a Class 4 state championship, I think, 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, I think it was
2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, I think they beat Warwick. So tell us a little bit about Varina, because you're going down to Richmond, right?
Yeah, we're going down there. They've got a long history. If you're not familiar with 804 football, the Richmond area, them and Highland Springs, if you want to go way back, one of the reasons we have a PowerPoint system is because of Varina Highland Springs. It used to be before PowerPoints, only the top 4 teams from the region went, and you had to win your district down there.
Yep.
And what would happen is Varina and Highland Springs were in the same district, and they both would be 9-0 going into that rivalry game. And the loser would be out. And it's this, those 2 teams were loaded. They had great teams.
Yeah.
And they, and one guy's done after the regular season, and they're possibly one of the top 5 teams in the whole state, regardless of division.
That happened with Hampton Bethel, where I played. I played at Bethel and Hampton in the 70s. It was like, I think 72, 70. We won in 72, 74. Hampton won like 73, 75. And there was a year in there where Lawrence Taylor's Lafayette Rams made it to the state finals. They were in our district. But yeah, I know. And we're like, wait, we only lost 1 game. Like, you're talking about probably the 2 best teams in the state, and only one of us is
done. So I think they're part of that system that got it changed, and they've had a long history. They got a laundry list of players who have played at the next level and even in the professional level. And then their current team is no slouch. They got dudes everywhere. Their quarterback kind of makes it all go. Defensively, their D line is impressive. Number 56, I think his name's Richardson. He gets off on the ball and gets going. They got a linebacker core that moves, and they're fast. It's going to be a great test for us. We're looking forward to playing those guys, and it's the kind of game you want in an out-of-district game before you get into district. You want to see how good you are, and we'll know. When we get back on that bus, we'll know exactly where we stand, and that's what's important. I want to play good teams. I want to get us ready for late in the season playing people who are good. So I'm excited about going down there, and it's going to be a different, cool environment. When I was coaching at Mountain View, we went down there and played them, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoy it. And again, just looking for a chance to compete and get after it.
Is this your first time playing Varina?
With Forest Park, yeah. What happened is
Forest Park. Because this isn't like you played them up here this year, and then the 2-year schedule cycle.
We had our 2-year cycle was against Gwynn Park, and we played them last year. And they bailed on us. In April. And so we had to kind of scramble to find a game. And Varina had 2 or 3 people bail on them. And I got in touch and actually got in touch and found out that they needed a game, and it worked out. We both had the weekend, so I jumped on it. So let's do it.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. Nothing against Gwynn Park, but this is a good game, a really good game. Yeah. Coach Denny, have you started to look at Varina, or are you all just wrapping up everything with the Alexandria City? And you don't have to give us any special, secrets or anything, but have you started to really start breaking them down yet?
For sure. Yeah, we broke them down over the weekend. And I mean, like Coach said, I mean, they're athletic. They got speed. I think they do some good stuff formationally to try to catch you misaligned, and they throw some different plays at you. And they got athletes. At the end of the day, you got to be able to defend that. So I look forward to seeing if we can rise to the challenge this week. I think it'll be a great opportunity for us.
Okay. All right, cool. Probably won't be able to make this week's game either. But I will be rooting for you. Do you know if they're going to have that game on the NFHS network? I'll check. I don't know.
They might be. I mean, if they've got the cameras, I'm sure they're in the network. I mean,
Okay.
while you're flying to whatever professional football game you've got to call, I'm sure they'll
Exactly. Right.
they'll Skype it in or something. You're big time, so they'll put it on
Yeah.
something for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you're right. What was I thinking? Or I could just take the helicopter down.
Yeah.
Right after.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So good stuff. And since you all are both coaches, I wanted to ask you if you had to give me your Mount Rushmore, meaning four of your favorite football coaches of all time, and this could be any level, any level. So it could be Nick Saban, and it could be Coach Mike Smith at Hampton High School, who's won a state championships, or it could be, Vince Lombardi. But who would you say so it's only four, Mount Rushmore. We'll start with you, Coach Robinette, because you've been around for a lot more coaches.
Well, I would say my first one was my first principal when I got into teaching, when I was teaching at a charter school in DC, a guy by the name of Don McMillan. At that point, he had done coaching, but I probably learned more from him about how to coach kids and how to handle them, care for them, but also be demanding of them without being demeaning of them. I remember my first year, I'm just going nuts, yelling and screaming, and he just kind of leveled me with hey, louder's not better, buddy. And it was just like, oh, okay. And it's just one of those things. And he had those kind of things where just, and his big thing is coaching's just teaching outside. And he had a knack for taking this and making it just common sense and very direct. And I've been called a pretty direct coach in my time. So I think he's got a huge influence on me when it came to how I'm coaching. And over the years, I've had some pretty good rugby coaches that have helped me out quite a bit. They're not quite football, but I had a lot of admiration. I had a Coach Dubois or Dubois in South Africa, Duplessis. He just knew his stuff. He later went on to coach the Springboks, the national team. And he really he just, again, knew how to explain the complicated or make it appear complicated and very direct for the player. So those two guys, I always enjoy, Nick Saban, of course, he's got just so much, his drive and the way acceptance of nothing but excellence and the way he drives people is pretty remarkable. Those are the three I got right now that are kind of on the top of my head.
Okay. All right. And if you think of one, we can come back to you. Coach Denny. If you want to keep your job, you might want to say that guy sitting next to you.
No doubt.
If I'm one of his better coaches, I gotta fire him and make him get around better people.
I'd say I definitely have to second him on Nick Saban. Just his overall take on process orientation and just the repeated success he had at Alabama and other places as well. I think that's somebody that you have to envy and just his process and the way he did it. Another two that come to mind, one would be my college defensive coordinator, Kurt Von Bargen, who's actually coaching at Benedictine right now. I think the thing that made him special, he just was a great teacher. He was able to break the game down, and a guy that kind of had a little bit of like an NFL background and high FBS background, and being able to break it down to us at the Division II level. And it's funny, I feel like my junior year, I led the team in tackles, but my senior year, I was a better player. And that was because of his addition. So that's a guy that I look up to for sure. I'd also say Tony Keelan, who was at Gar-Field. That's my guy, man. I played on the Dale City Cowboys with him. We went to 3 national championships. I was a part of that whole wave.
Oh, wow.
Just somebody that just knew how to take you under his wing. And I think as you saw over his time as a high school coach, he could just get you to run through a wall for him. He knew how to demand more, but at the end of the day, he could get you to go through a wall for him. And it was just a genuine relationship. I would actually, you know what's funny? I would throw Robinette up there. I'll throw him up there, but not
Okay.
even from I think it's more from the aspect, the thing I like about Rob that I look up to is he has a passion for the game, a passion for X's and O's. And just when we meet, my head's spinning in circles trying to keep up with him, man. And it's sometimes I feel like he loves football more than me, and he's been in it longer. So I'll throw him in there for sure. Hopefully I'm like that when I'm 50 or so.
Okay. Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Mine, if I had to do a list, I would say I'd start with my high school football coach, Dennis Kozlowski at Bethel High School. He won 3 football state championships. He won in the 70s. He won again with Allen Iverson in the 90s. Won multiple track state championships, and was, I didn't appreciate it back then, but dude was, the football indoor outdoor coach. He was an athletic director and an English teacher. Like now, of course, the ADs get to have that as their only job, and you got all these separate things. But, at the time, I didn't appreciate, because he was yelling and grabbing my face mask and old school, we didn't drink water unless we, but as I went through the program and then I look back, like the stuff I thought I didn't, and like I was like, oh, you know what? Now I get it, because that's how actually I coach in a way. Like I had to change with the times, but like his passion was such that he really did love you and he cared for you, and I look at it and go, man, that dude, we were a good team, but like the thing I always said about us compared to Hampton High School is like they had more state championships, but we put a lot more kids in college. Like a lot of kids were getting education for free. And that was one of his things he focused on. Like he really cared for you, like your classroom, how you were doing, and coordinating and working with you and stuff like outside of the room. So Coach Kaz, definitely for me. Then the other ones, very quickly, I'd have Tony Dungy. Just the way he coached. I mean, I've never been around him. I did go to one Indianapolis Colts training camp in Terre Haute one year, but like to be calm, didn't curse, but very humble, cared. Like he's the one that got Tampa Bay. Like they used to be a laughing stock program. He got them to be great. And then they fire him. They win the Super Bowl later on without him, but we know it was his foundation. But then he went to the Colts, who for a year, I know he had Peyton Manning, but people don't realize like Tony Dungy didn't just know defense. Like he was a quarterback in college at Minnesota and played for the Steelers and, won Super Bowls there as a defensive back. And then Bill Walsh, like you created a whole system, like a style of offense that impacted us for decades, and then the last one I have two, and so I'm gonna go like 4 and 5. Frank Beamer, for all the things I talked about earlier. Mike Tomlin, his brother and I, we took some young ladies, we double dated to the Denby High School prom. He was just little Mike, a little ninth grader when I was a senior. But I really appreciate what he did, because I remember seeing him in high school, play at William & Mary, and then ascend to, and he's a part of that Tony Dungy coaching tree. So I'm very proud of him and what he's done and being one of the Steelers' 3 coaches over the last 50 years. So that's kind of my 4/5 in coaching. But all right, so I appreciate you guys letting us know that. So we learned a little bit more about what you think and your philosophies, but also the people that inspired you. Want to know a little bit more about you, Coach Denny. So you played college football, but let's go back. Tell me, where are you from? Where'd you go to school, high school? Where'd you grow up? And what were some of the sports, other things you did? And what are you doing now? So, well, first of all, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Woodbridge, Virginia.
Okay.
Yep. I went to Gar-Field. So I started out at Bishop Ireton. I went there for 2 years of high school, and then I transferred into Gar-Field my last 2 years. And then from there, I was lucky enough to earn a scholarship to Chowan University, a small Division II school.
Yeah.
So CIAA. I think they're Gulf South now, but at the time I went, they were CIAA.
CIAA, yeah.
Yeah. So I did that. Afterwards, I knew I wanted to coach. I kind of bounced around at some college programs, Gallaudet in DC, Heidelberg University, which is in Ohio. And then I did a year as like a student assistant at Chowan. That's how I kind of got everything started. So I did that. I knew high school football is what I wanted to do, or at least football in general. College really wasn't for me, but I knew I wanted to stick with the game of football. So I kind of found myself into being a school counselor, where I'm currently a school counselor at Robinson High School in Fairfax.
Oh, you're Robinson? Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, my wife is a school counselor. She's at Colgan.
Okay.
Yeah, she was at Woodbridge for years. But yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, what year did you come out of high school?
I graduated in 2012. Yeah. So I was on, I don't know if you recall, I was a senior on that Gar-Field team that got put out the playoffs because we had an eligible player. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
But the joke I make is that I won my last game in the playoffs, but I didn't win a state championship. So
okay. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Man. That Woodbridge, Gar-Field has had some great athletes and great teams over the years. In fact, back in our day, Gar-Field, Robinette, you were in high school when Gar-Field won a state championship, right?
Right after.
Oh, right after. Okay. All right. So they beat Hampton.
Yeah, another member of my staff, Greg Fricky, he was part of that state championship team that won with Chuck White. I had just graduated in 1990 because it was interesting because that year, Division 5, Potomac went to the state final and played West Potomac. In Division 6, Gar-Field went and played Hampton. And West Potomac beat Potomac, and Gar-Field won it.
Yeah. Gar-Field has had some dynamite athletes over the years, and that's great. I think you all, one of the things Gar-Field I know I've seen is like School of Champions. I've seen that, and like that's one of our monikers that we've had. You all have a similar rivalry. When I grew up, it was the Hampton-Bethel rivalry for years, and I know Gar-Field and Woodbridge have had one of those big rivalries. Especially during the time I know in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even in the early 2000s. In fact, I remember going to one of the Gar-Field Woodbridge games, and it was like one of the, highlighted as one of the national games, Friday night games. They have the historic national games. So, yeah, it's cool that you can come from a program with that kind of tradition and history to bring. Anything else we should know about you, Coach Denny?
I'm just looking forward to the rest of the season, man. Of course, we're taking it one game at a time, but I just look forward to seeing us grow as a team, and I think we got a special group of kids and coaches this year. So
I definitely agree, and I love the way me being around the program, even when I kind of stay back at some of the practices, and but just watching the way you all run the practices, the respect you give those athletes, and then I can tell how much they respect you and really care about you guys and want to do well, not just for themselves, but I can tell they really appreciate you all as coaches. So, all right, Coach Robinette, anything you want to close out with?
No, we're, like I said, excited about the week. Good test for us. Can see where we stand. I got lucky getting Coach Denny to agree to come on staff, and we're looking forward to what we got next. Let's get going. Let's play some ball.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good. All right, look, so for Coach Denny and Coach Robinette, I'm Rusty Byrd, and this has been the Forest Park High School Football Show. Give it to him, Coach.
Go Bruins.
Go Bruins. All right, thanks, y'all. We are out.